So it is all about having a great routine. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Marquita from AtHomeWithQuita. So glad that you stopped by today to catch another video. So today is going to be all about my planner routine. I'm going to be sharing with you guys within my Catchall Planner how I plan my week, my thought process, and kind of how I structure things and make sure that I get the most out of that week. So if you're new here, I hope you'll stick around and consider subscribing. I also hope that you'll give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. So I haven't done a planner routine video in literally 3 to 4 years. I've only done one on my channel, so it's about time for me to update that routine and share with you all the details. So if you want to see my updated planner routine, make sure to keep watching. All right, so today is going to be all about my Catchall Planner, the routine that I do every single Sunday when I sit down to plan my week out. I'm going to talk you through that whole entire process. So let's go ahead and get started and just dive right on in. So the first thing that I thought I would share with you guys are some tools that I use within my planner system that really work well for me. So first and foremost, when I'm sitting down on a Sunday evening to plan my week out, of course, I've got some tools that I use. So this is my little tool bag. I am in the process of transitioning out of this bag and into a new planner storage, tool storage system, which I'll share with you once they arrive. I'm really excited about them, and I think they're gonna work out really well to just organize this a little bit further. So some key things that I thought I would point out that I really use most often is I use my scissors. So between these scissors and these scissors, these are my foldable scissors, and then these scissors right here, you clamp them like that and you cut whatever sticker you need to cut. So that's first and foremost. I also do use my Tombow adhesive a lot, and then I use my Sharpie pen and writing on the transparent sticky notes, which I'll share with you momentarily because that is one of the tools that I use. And then also tweezers. So this is a whole story in itself as to why that has the sticky stuff on it. We went out of town and my son lost his ear pod within the car, like in between the seatbelt, and we could not get it out. So I was like, you know what, I got a tool for that. So I felt really good. So I was able to pull these tweezers out and we were able to use them so that we could get his ear pod out of the seat. So that's why you see that wrapped around there. Kind of got entangled in there, but we used it and we put a little sticky around here to kind of get it up and stuck to this. And then we used the tweezers to get the rest of the way out. So anyways, I know there's always a story, right? So that is why you see that sticky stuff on here. But these tweezers have been so perfect. And I love the fact that they, when you press them, they go like this as opposed to the other way around. So tweezers are definitely an essential tool for planning out my weeks. And then other than that, I do also use my X-Acto knife. So these work out great as well. So that's pretty much all of the stuff that I use on a consistent basis. I do use this other stuff as well, but I don't always use it consistently. Oh, did I share with you my Sharpie pen? Yeah, I did. So I use that for the transparent sticky notes. There are a lot of pens that work with the transparent sticky notes, but I just find that using that, the Sharpie just works out the best for me. And really what I use them for is for pre-planning. So we're gonna talk about that as well. So this is my little tool bag that stays in my planner bag. So that way I have all the tools that I need. Some other things that I really love using in my planner routine are these transparent sticky notes. So that's what I was just talking to you about. So we've got 9 available in the shop, or I'm sorry, 10 available in the shop. So we've got multiple colors for you to choose from. And they are not your typical shape. They're octagon shaped. And I know we typically see hexagon shapes, so I decided to try something different. And so I do keep one in here because I use those on a weekly basis to pre-plan some things out for the next week. So sticky notes, transparent sticky notes are definitely a must for me. I do also have 3 other sticky notes here. These I use for my spiritual schedule to write in Monday through Friday what I'm studying for that week. And then these I just use for random things. So I just keep them tucked in the pocket here so that way I have them ready and available for me. I'm not fumbling around trying to find anything. So this is the essential stuff that I keep right here in the side pocket. And then I keep a notepad here and just so I can write some random things. Other than that, there's nothing else in the pockets there. Okay, so now that we've gotten tools out of the way, I'm going to just dive right on in and we'll talk you through step by step. I'm going to try to keep things in order so that way you know kind of how things flow from start to finish. So the first thing that I do is I recap my previous week, and I just do that so I could see kind of how things went, what went on, what my big wins were, any losses, anything I need to change from the previous week. So since we're just now getting into July, that is already purged out because this thing is so thick. I try to only keep 1 to 2 months in here at a time. So I've got June here from last month. So what I would do is I would look at that last week in June and just kind of see how things went. Now, last week in June for us, we happened to be on vacation. So as you can see, there's nothing really written in here. And so there's really nothing to reflect on. But most of the time, my spreads are filled in with lots of information that I want to reflect on. And I just want to see kind of how things went at a high level. So that's the first thing that I do is I just kind of recap and review the previous months. And then sometimes I'll take it a step further and I'll go ahead and write in a weekly review. We do have weekly review inserts in our shop. We also have monthly review inserts. So I'll sit down at the end of the month and I'll write all that in. It's structured in a way to where it allows you to dump all that information out. You can save that at the end of each month. And then that way you can look at that at the end of the year and kind of see what you were able to accomplish. Same thing with the weekly. So sometimes I'll do that and sometimes I don't. So if that is going to be a part of my routine, then I'll do that all up front at this time. I'll review the previous week and then I'll go ahead and write in my weekly review. So next up, what I do is I review my month. So now we're getting into the actual planning part of this process. So what I'll do is I'll go to my monthly. As you can see, my month is all filled in with lots of good things that I know I need to accomplish. You guys saw how I plan my monthly out on a previous video that I did, so you can always look back at that to see how I plan my monthly and I get to this point, because when I'm sitting down on a Sunday evening, this isn't a part of my process. I've already planned my month at the beginning of the month or prior to the beginning of the month. So I've already done that, so I don't need to do that again. So we just need to really look at that to see what we need to accomplish for the week, because we're drilling down to the week now. And so what I'll do is I'll come here and I'll say, okay, this is the week that we're on, the 4th through the 10th. What do I need to do this week? So I see lots of recurring things, and then I also see some things that are not recurring. And so once I kind of get a look at that and I kind of know what is going on for that week, it is now time for me to decorate the spread. So that's what you guys typically see on a YouTube video. You'll see me decorate my spread as opposed to writing in things. I typically don't write things in. And then I also, when it comes to my monthly, I do have a magnetic calendar. Which I showed you guys is on the refrigerator. And so during that monthly process, which I've already told you guys about in the last video, that's where I'm going to write in the magnetic stuff, or the stuff on that magnetic calendar that sits on the refrigerator as well. And then also I have recently re-implemented a catch-all planner into my system. And so this is all a part of my monthly planning. So I'm just briefly touching on monthly planning just because it is a part of my routine, but it's just not done on a weekly basis. So all I do here literally is plan my monthly. I don't do anything else besides that. I don't decorate. I don't do any of that. You guys remember when I used to plan in like 10 planners? Like, we don't do that anymore. At least I don't do that. If you do that, more kudos to you, because I just don't have the time to plan in that many planners anymore. So that's why you only see these two. And then I have a business and social media planner. So in that business and social media planner, it's planned pretty similar in that, I sit down on a Sunday to figure out what my week entails. But since it's business and social media, there's lots of other aspects that are not included in this planner. So I'm going to do that on a separate video. And I'll share with you guys how I do that in terms of my business and social media planner routine. So for this video, we're just really going to talk about my catch-all and then this planner, which is my purse planner. So the purpose of this planner is so that, and I've run into this situation lots of times, people will ask if you have plans to do anything. And since this is pretty much always with me on the go, although we're still pretty much shut in, we're not really doing much of anything, I do write this in on a monthly basis just so I can have a response. If they ask if we are available, I can look at this and see. I do also use my phone sometimes, but sometimes I don't. This calendar is always updated. So that's all I do on this. I do also have a section for trackers, lists, to go, brain dump, and inbox, and then some random things back here along with sticky notes. So that's all that's in here, and I just keep this in my purse, and then it also serves as a great way to write notes. I've run into situations where I needed a notebook or I needed a pen, and so because I have this just kind of thrown in my planner, I'm able to have all of that on the go. So this is a personal size planner from Filofax, and it is Malden, or it's stone gray. And I think it's really cute. I have this in A5 size as well. So this is the perfect size to just throw in your planner. So that is really all I'm going to cover when it comes to the purse planner, because again, this pretty much stays in my purse, and I only write in the monthly just to reflect on it and to see what availability we have if asked. Okay, so we've talked about monthly just really briefly. And so once I see what I've got going on for that week, then I'll come here, I'll decorate the spread, which is what we just talked about. And I use various things to do that. You guys always pretty much watch my plan with me, so you know kind of how that works. And so once I decorate my spread, I get it the way I want. I place the sticker strategically where I know I have appointments, and I make it look the way I want so that I want to use it. By the way, this is our new vertical week on one layout. I am obsessed with this layout. One reason is because it's all on one page. So I don't have to be fumbling with all of this stuff, because you guys know I do keep a lot of stuff tucked in the week. I don't have to do that to see the other side. The other side is completely separate. And so I love that. And it allows me to see really quickly what I have going on that next week as well. This layout is life-changing. Okay, so we've decorated our spread. And so now it is time to transfer those tasks from the previous week over to this week. So that's what I do next. And again, that's where this previous week would come into play. And so once I do that, then that's when I purge out the month, just in case you're wondering about that. So again, I would come here. And since we were on vacation last week, there's really not much here to work with. And so, but normally this is written in, like, let's say, for instance, would be like this. Written in, I would have things on the schedule that need to be transferred over to that next week. So I'll just really glance at it, and I see that I was supposed to pay a bill on the 1st, which I didn't do, but it's only the 6th. Technically, I still have time to pay it. And so I need to pay it. I mean, it's not like a bill, a recurring bill. It's just something I need to pay. And so I need to transfer that over to this week, which I did already transfer over right here. And so we've got that added as a task, and that is pretty much it that I need to transfer over. But a lot of times there is tons of things that I need to transfer over from week to week. I will also transfer things over month to month during my monthly planning. That's a part of that process as well. So we no longer need June. We are in July fully now. I've already transferred everything over from June, and I can purge that out so that my planner is less bulky. All right, so now that I have transferred all of my tasks over from the previous week, I'm going to go ahead and write in the remainder of my spread information in terms of things that I know I need to do. And where that is pulled from is typically just inside my head when I know things I need to do. Also, recurring things are written on the schedule as well. And that's just pulled from the monthly, and just random things that I know I need to do, whether I wrote a note down somewhere in my planner in one of these sections, or I just can recall it from my head. And I also write things down day to day as they come up. So it's Tuesday. So when I sat down on Sunday, this was probably pretty much blank. But now that it's Tuesday, I've been writing things in as the week goes along. So I also have this handy dandy checklist. You guys should definitely create one of these checklists if you don't have one yet. I've always had one, and I just keep it stuck in my monthly. It's just one of our inserts that I folded in half, so I have extra space. It has 2 columns, and so basically what this does is it helps me to figure out what I need to plan for or write in my planner every week, just in a vague sense. So it's not like so specific. Some stuff is specific, but most everything is like, who do I need to call? Whose anniversaries are there? What outings do I want to do? My to-do list, my ministry. So I also use this for my monthly planning as well, because some stuff pertains to monthly stuff, and then some stuff is weekly, and some stuff is both. And so I'll just come here and I'll look at this checklist. I don't check anything off. This just standard stays in the planner, and I'll figure out what I need to make sure that I'm writing in. And this is a great way, because I know some people say, well, what, I don't have anything to write in my planner. These are some good ideas of things that you can write in your planner. And I know I've done a video on that as well, so make sure to check that out. I didn't share all of this. I am trying to share it slowly because I try to go a little bit more more in depth in those videos. So I've got my ministry, bills, Bible study ideas, cleaning schedule, family worship, events, sports, extracurriculum, school and education, gym schedule, family meeting, home projects, meal planning, groceries, theocratic, library, park, Zoom events, my trackers, which are my 31-day tracker, daily, no spend. Those are all trackers, which you'll see when I get into that part of the video. My vitamins, doctor's appointments, friends I want to check in on. So I'm constantly adding to this list, and this is just a great basis that you can use to fill in those pages. So you could just literally sit here and say, okay, who do I want to call this week? You can write that in as a task or as a priority or on your actual schedule. So this is great. So I would definitely come up with something like this that can help you guys to start to write in that planner those things, that you want to make sure that you're tracking. So this kind of sets out, and this is what I use to write in my planner. So I'll sit here and I'll just kind of go through the list one by one, and I'll write it in as I see fit. So that is next up, writing in on my planner pages using this checklist. And then so how that's kind of goes in terms of, how I'm writing it in structurally or in order. I mean, there's really no order. I'm all over the place sometimes, but I do write in my priorities first. So these are the main important things that I want to make sure that I do not forget. So I'll write those in. We do have a spot for 5 priorities. And then my tasks are the next thing, again, from this checklist here and from transferring over from the previous week. And then I'll write in what I want to buy. I do sometimes cover up these sections and repurpose them. That's kind of why the wording is so small. I try to make it to where you could just easily put some white out there if you want to repurpose these sections. So in terms of to buy, I do sometimes incorporate business items that I need to buy just because I'm always in this planner and sometimes I'm not always in the other planner. And so I like to see it here as well. But pretty much this stuff is just random things I need to buy. Just if something just pops into my head, I'm going to dump it out here. Most of the time it's family items or household items as opposed to grocery items. I'm going to talk you through that process as well, how I create my grocery list. And so this is just random to buy things. And then down here is where I put our dinners for the week. So we're going to talk about that during the meal planning process of this video. I'm just kind of sharing with you how I write things in. And this is the next step, is writing everything in. And then here is just appointments and just outings, things like that. I want to make sure that we do. It's also recurring things, which also come from the monthly and from the previous week. So all of the previous week stuff gets dumped here, and then new stuff gets dumped here as well. So next up for me is going ahead and sitting down and writing my week. All right, so after I write my week in from what I know that needs to be done, including tasks, priorities, to buy, dinner, and all that stuff, this is when I sit down and I really think of what my to-do list is. I know I told you guys that I kind of do this day by day, and I do dump things here day by day when they come to mind, but I pretty much try to sit down and really think about what I want to do during the week. So I have a whole list of items that pretty much normally get transferred from the previous week. I normally have a lot of remaining things that need to be transferred over, but I'll really sit down and I'll write in a to-do list of things that I want to do for the week if I know it, or for that next day. I try to go as slow as possible because sometimes I'm not quite sure of a to-do list for the week. I only know what needs to be done on Monday or Tuesday if I'm working with Monday. So I try to do my to-do list day by day. So Sunday I'll pretty much write in those to-do list items for Monday, and then Monday I'll reflect on the day, and then I'll figure out what I need to do for Tuesday and transfer those tasks. So I'm always pushing things, and I'm always just doing things day by day because that's just how my brain works. But on a Sunday, I do like to sit down and give myself a good foundation. So that's up next, is creating your to-do list. And that also includes for me spiritual things. So just to quickly touch on that, my spiritual schedule is right here. And so these are things that I know I need to do on a weekly basis, spiritual wise. So my weekly Bible reading, my treasures prep, my congregation study prep, apply and living, Watchtower study on Friday and Saturday. This is my study schedule. And so I'll sit down and I'll write this out every week. Pretty much stays the same, but if there's anything additional I need to do, then I'll go ahead and write that in here as well. And then I also have like the kids Bible study stuff, which goes on my actual regular schedule. So that is a recurring thing that just comes up like Addison's every Monday. Then my husband does Malachi. And so that's recurring stuff that I pull from the monthly. So I don't necessarily write that in here. But I do have a faith section here, and this is my whole entire schedule. So this is where I pull that information from. This is all of my meeting prep stuff here. This is my ministry stuff. This is stuff with the kids. These are all of the Zooms that I have. So I don't necessarily write that all here. This is only just preparation for meetings. Otherwise, I come here for all of the other stuff and I pull from here and I put out on my actual schedule for the week. So let's say, for instance, ministry. I know that on Tuesdays, I prep for the ministry. I don't have to write that in my calendar. And then Wednesday would be ministry day. So that's what I would actually write on the calendar. And then Thursday as well. And then Friday is prep, and then Saturday is ministry as well. So all of that stuff would be written in on the schedule once I sit down and I do that part of the process. After I decorate and I write in my spread, I'll come here and I'll pull the faith stuff as well, and I'll write that in on the weekly schedule. So that is all included in making my to-do list, writing in my tasks, and then also my spiritual schedule. All right, next part of this is my favorite part, and that is meal planning. So you guys know I absolutely love meal planning. So I'm going to talk you through how that happens. That happens next. And that is the most fun part of the process for me because I just love cooking and I love making sure that we are prepared for the week in terms of what we're eating. We're able to save so much money by meal planning. So I would definitely recommend that if that's what you choose to do, and I hope you do, because it's really very beneficial. So the first thing that I do, and it looks different every week. I happen to really love these daily tasks pages right now, and sometimes I'll use a grocery list or a shopping list insert like this. This is one of our notepads. We do have this available punched as well, but sometimes it'll be a shopping list and sometimes it'll be this. The insert that I use will look differently. Right now, this is just what's working for me because I am doing keto, so I like to kind of break out my meals. Okay, so let's talk through that part of the process. So I sit down after I plan my week out, and then that's when I do the meal planning part of this process. And how I do that is I go onto Pinterest and I look on one of my boards depending on what I'm doing. And I'm doing keto right now, so I do have a board for keto. And then I'll figure out what I want us to have for dinner for that week. So if you guys don't know, I do, because I'm the cook in this household. I cook 3 times a week, and then the other days are leftover days. I also have tons of books on keto and regular meal planning and regular recipes and stuff like that. I also have a whole full recipe keeper, which is where I store the recipes and I pull the recipes out or the cards out when I'm getting ready to do my meal planning. Okay. And so I like to have a slot for breakfast, 2 slots for snacks, 2 slots for lunch, and 3 slots for dinner. And so when I'm going onto Pinterest and looking for recipes, it's typically going to be dinner, but sometimes it may be snacks and lunches. I try to keep it simple when it comes to snacks and lunches. And so what I'll do is I'll come here, I'll write in what I'm having as a snack, or typically a snack won't be written in, anything specific. It'll just be the ingredients. That's why I love this. So I'll write that it is a snack, and then I'll come here and I'll write in what I need for that particular meal. So for this particular snack, I needed some cheese and I needed some pepperoni. So this serves as my grocery list as well. So this is where I'll come and I'll plan everything out. It allows me to kind of separate things and use this also when I get ready to cook. I can say, okay, for dinner, I know this is what we're having. This is all the ingredients I need to pull out of the refrigerator or the pantry. So I'll sit down and I'll write all that out, and I'll keep this in here so that I can use it later for reference. I sometimes also keep it indefinitely just because I feel like I already have all the ingredients and everything already written out for that particular item. If it's not on a card, then I can just come here and look at this. So sometimes I'll keep them, sometimes I don't. It just all depends on if I have the recipe written out on the recipe card. And so this works just so perfectly right now. What I usually do before in the past is I would just, when I was using the dashboard layout, I just wrote in what we were having for dinner right there. And then I would put in a half page that would be similar to this within the spread that showed all of the things that I needed to purchase from the grocery store. But I love this so much more so because I can split it out by what I'm having. And then what I also do is off to the side in this little column, I'll write the carbs. Since I am on keto, I need to know how many carbs it is. And so I'll write in that off to the side. And then as I order my groceries on Walmart or Kroger, then I'll check them off that I've ordered them. And so I order all of my groceries on those services, and then I have them delivered to our house on Monday. So I order groceries on Sunday, they're delivered Monday. Sometimes early in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, just depends on when I know I'm gonna wake up because I wanna be available to bring them in, because I normally just have them leave them here because of COVID. They just leave them outside, ring the doorbell and text me and let me know, and then I'll come down and pick them up and take them inside. And so I love having it structured this way. And so as you can see, for lunch, I needed a Caesar salad and bacon. And so as I ordered the kit, the Caesar salad kit and the bacon, I checked it off. I didn't put the carbs here, but I know I need to go back and do that because I need to make sure I'm calculating. I'm trying to have 20 carbs a day. And so this is a great way to be able to just see everything all on one page. So for dinner, I put a number here in terms of what order I was going to cook these meals in. Next time I would probably put a M for Monday, a W for Wednesday, and an F for Friday. So for Monday, we had salmon and green beans. Well, actually, we had salmon and broccoli. So it wasn't green beans. It was supposed to be green beans, but then I changed my mind. And I put that it has 8 carbs, so I know that it has those amount of carbs. I did put Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here, so that does kind of help me. And then I put all the ingredients I needed to buy for that particular recipe. So now I know for the second meal, which is going to be Mexican meatloaf, this is everything I need to pull out of the pantry and the refrigerator for that meal. It's already in here. And I know it has 11 grams of carbs. And then for Friday, we're having buffalo peppers, 5.4 carbs. So I love this because it serves as a grocery list, but also a way to see what meals that you're having during the week. So that is what I typically do first. I'll sit down and I'll write all of this in based on Pinterest or wherever I'm pulling recipes from at that time. And then I do also have a whole meal planning section. And so I typically on a monthly level, I'm not sure if I talked about this in my monthly video on how I plan my monthly, but sometimes I'll come in and I'll write all the recipes I want to have for the month or for the week already pre-planned out. And so if I do that, so I'm going to check here first, but if I do that, then that is where I'm going to pull the recipe from as opposed to Pinterest, because I've already done that during my monthly planning. And I'm going to look at this and I'm going to write it in on those pages I just shared with you. And then I'm going to write all the items that I need to pick up from the grocery store and do my shopping and so forth. So this is my meal planning section. I also come here and I look at what I need to keep on hand. So when I'm creating my grocery list, which I do add to that page on the back side, because I don't like to see on the front side anything other than what my meal plan is for the week. So on the front side, this is just my meal plan stuff and everything I need to pick up for that. So on the back side is where I'll put additional items for the household, and I'll write the category in here as well. So that's why I love these so much. So this is where I would come to pull that from, and I would see, do we need tissue? Do we need paper towels? Do we need soap? You know, any of these items, do we need them? And I'll go ahead and add them to that list that I just showed you. And so I have an items to keep on hand, and then I also have family favorites. So this is where I'll come sometimes too to see what I know is a hit for us, and I'll plan to cook that for the week, especially if I'm grasping for ideas. And so these are the shopping lists I was telling you about that I sometimes use. If I'm going to use these, I'll write the store across the side here, and then I'll write in my shopping list of items that I need to pick up from the store. But you can see why I love it the other way, right? Because you could really see the columns in terms of what you're having. For me, I can see the carbs and all that stuff. That's what I did the previous week. And again, I told you sometimes I keep these. And so I love just keeping these in here. So that way I have them for reference. If I know I'm going to cook these things again, I can just literally look at this. The grocery list already made, carbs and everything's already outlined for me. And so what I'll do eventually is take this out once it gets too bulky, and I'll purge it and put it into my meal planner. And so next, what I do is I go ahead and pull recipe cards. So this is my meal planner right here. This isn't a planner that I pull or reach for every day. This is only on a weekly basis when I need some inspiration of meal planning ideas, which again, I told you I would probably transfer those out and put them in here, those pages. If I need photos to create a recipe card, they're in here. If I need some of these are our fairly new recipe cards that you can kind of store in a box or whatnot. If I want to pull one of these out and use that, I just come here literally for inspiration, and then also to pull a recipe card out that's either filled in already or a blank page for me to write in that recipe. So if I know I'm making this, which is Philly stuffed peppers, I'll just go ahead and grab this out and I'll insert that into this section of my planner right here. So that way I have all of the recipes that I'm making for the week. So it's typically going to be either 3 blank cards or 2 blank cards. Actually, it depends on how I'm structuring it or how I'm organizing it, because I do like to have certain meals in certain sections and on certain pages. Like I wouldn't write I would only write a keto recipe here and then a keto recipe on the back. That's kind of how my mind works. So I'll either pull 2 or 3, or if I already have it written in, which hopefully I'll do, I just pull this out. So as you can see, I love these cards here because they're just so neutral. And I've already added some photos to some of them, but haven't really written in there, but I have written in some. So I'll look through here, and eventually I'm going to organize this a little bit better, and I'll grab out the recipe card that I am using to make the meal for that week. So I did make this yesterday, a turkey bacon wrap for lunch, which is really good. So I could technically pull that out and put it in there, but sometimes I don't always pull out lunch. I only pull out dinner. So that's what I do next, and then this is just fill paper that I grabbed from. So that's all I really do in my meal planner. Everything is pretty much done in here. So I typically on a Sunday night will come and go ahead and write in the recipe here, but sometimes I'm a slacker and I don't always write in the recipe here, especially since I have this new system of writing it in on the pages like I showed you here. I don't always write the recipe, but I am going to eventually write it, especially if I know it's a big hit for us. So after I write the recipe card, that is pretty much it in terms of my meal planning process. So again, I will come here, I will write in all of the meals I want to have for the week, breakfast, snack, lunch, and dinner, based on Pinterest, based on recipes I already have stored in my recipe keeper, family favorites. I'll go ahead and dump that here, and then I will go to the backside and write in other items that we need to pick up based on stuff that I know I need to keep on hand, and then just random things that I know we need. Also, if I've written it down here or on the previous week and I didn't purchase it, that'll all go in my weekly grocery shopping plan. So that is the next part of the process, which is my favorite part, is meal planning. And I love the fact that I have everything in here, because what that means is that when I get ready to make the food, I can just take this planner in the kitchen and I have everything that I know I need to make that recipe for the week, including the recipe cards. So meal planning is up next, and then grocery shopping, all of that is done on Sunday. I dump it all out here, and then I go onto the app and I order all the groceries, I schedule my delivery, and it gets delivered Monday. So meal planning is awesome. I love it. And that is the next part of this process in my planner routine. All right, the next part of my planner routine is creating my cleaning schedule. And so I don't typically write that in on my actual calendar here, because as you can see, space is pretty limited. And so the best thing that I found for me is to use chore cards. So I have these cards that I've been using for some time that I write my daily chores on, and then I'll come here and I'll check it off. And so as you can see, those are just some things that I know I need to do on a daily basis. And then I know I have weekly chores and monthly chores and all of that other stuff. And so where I write that in is actually in my home section. And I actually have specific inserts that I use for my weekly cleaning routine. So as you can see here, my daily, and that pretty much corresponds with what you just saw there. And so I come here on these days and I check them off. And then we have weekly, Trash Tuesday, change my sheets, dust, replace light bulbs, mirrors, stovetop, all of that stuff is on a weekly basis. And then I'll do my day-by-day stuff. So I have bathrooms, because you guys know, I don't know if you know, but I zone clean, and that's what works for me. So I try to pick a specific zone. I have my house outlined into zones. I am going to do a video on my channel. I did do a video for Wild University, so that was kind of like exclusive content for them. And so I was kind of trying to let that sit, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to share with you guys here the zone cleaning inserts and kind of how you can plan for that. But I love zone cleaning because my brain just works in sections. And so I've already split my house up mentally and on that page, those zone cleaning pages, and so I know kind of how the zones are within the house. And so I typically try to tackle that zone on that day. So that's bathrooms, and then I've outlined the things that I need to do for the bathroom, and then bedrooms, kitchen, office, living room, basement, outdoors. And then this is a notes section. I need to assign tasks to the kids, and I need to put it on our chore calendar, which is on the refrigerator. And then this is some supplies that I needed, and that will also be added to the grocery list. So I do come here and look and see what I need to purchase for my weekly cleaning routine. So I love these inserts. They're fairly new to the shop, and they are just so awesome to be able to write in your whole entire cleaning routine for the week. So this would be whatever that week is that I'm working with. I don't insert it into that weekly section, like I really don't put it here. I know I need to clean, and so I'll just come here and reference that. And then on the back side is going to be for the next week. And so these are just so awesome for that. Then I also do have some challenges that I do from time to time. I will be doing a declutter challenge from our home management stationery box, which by the way, we are going to do a re-release of that because I know some of you guys missed out. And so we are trying to stock some more so that way you guys could grab one if you want. And this was a part of that. And so I am going to start a challenge that's probably going to start August 1st. And I'm going to create a whole thing for all of us to participate if we want to. So stay tuned for details on that. And so sometimes I will have to come eventually when I get ready to do that, I will have to add this to my cleaning schedule, or I'll have to some way indicate that on my calendar that I'm working on my pantry, or remember to come reference this. I may just write day 1, day 2 on my calendar, organization challenge or declutter challenge. That's what it's going to be called. And so I probably would just do that to keep it simple. Then I would come here and reference that. But this would all be a part of that cleaning process when I get ready to do that for the day. And maybe at some point in time, I'll show you guys all of this in action because I know it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to show you guys. And so maybe I'll do like a day in the life of my planner. I have seen those videos floating around. And then this was a cleaning challenge that I kind of like. So I keep all of that stored in this home section. And then these are projects that I know that we need to do for the house. And I do need to kind of check some of those things off as well. But that's done during the week as well. Try to be working on a project. You guys know me. I'm always working on something. So what we're doing right now is we are working on kind of redoing the house to some degree. So I started back in the laundry room. You guys saw that video on my channel this week. And then I went into the hallway. I did do a reel and a TikTok on that if you guys want to see that. At Home with Quita on all platforms. And then we are transitioning into the bathroom. So we're starting on that end of the house and we're working our way out. And so I need to go ahead and write in all of those projects so I can start checking them off on this list. So again, laundry room, because I like to see what we've been able to accomplish. And then 1/2 bath, and then hallway. All that is on the same end of the house. So we did the laundry room and then we did the hallway. So I'll write them in as we get ready to tackle them, or I'll write them after the fact once we've completed them. So when I'm doing my cleaning schedule, that is all taken into consideration. What projects I want to do during the week. Am I doing any sort of challenges? Am I decluttering anything? Am I organizing anything? And then also, I'm a brand ambassador for the Container Store. Do I have a project due that week? I want to make sure that I take note of all of that, including my regular weekly cleaning schedule. So there's multiple moving parts with this whole thing, but I pretty much just come to this section when I want to know what I'm cleaning during the day or the week or the month, if anything needs to be changed out. I come here for that. I don't necessarily write that on my cleaning schedule. I just write it in here. So I do a new page of this every week. So I'll come here and write that all here because sometimes things do change and sometimes I need to add things. I need more supplies. So I'll come here and I'll write that in during that part of the process of creating my cleaning schedule. And again, it all stays here. It doesn't get written on my weekly because there's just not enough space for that. I do keep this daily chore card here just for reference, and I'll check off those things as we go along. If I just need something to reference really quickly within this week, then I'll reference this, and then anything deeper, I'll come here. All right, so next up is creating that cleaning schedule. Not sure why this washi keeps coming off. And this is pretty much, you guys, how my week looks. So next up is creating a cleaning schedule, considering chores, considering kids' chores, considering projects that need to be done around the house, any decluttering things that I have going. All of that stuff is encompassed in the cleaning schedule that I create for the week. All right, next we need to consider our bills. So bills are always written in on my monthly. We have a spreadsheet. I know I talked about this plenty of times, my husband and I, to track our household bills. This is just stuff that I know I need to pay personally. I always dump that in on the monthly. This isn't business expenses, none of that stuff like that. It's just random things that I know I need to pay. And so I'll come here for that week. I'll look across again, see the week that we're on, and then all I do is just write it in on that day. So and if I missed anything from the previous week, I don't necessarily write it in on a day. As you can see, I missed paying that. I'll write it in on my tasks. But if I know there's a bill on a specific day, I need to write that in on that specific day. So it looks like I didn't write in Sam's Club on the 10th, and I need to write that in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. need to pay my Sam's Club card. Okay, so that is really the only bill that I need to write in. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. It just all depends on that particular month. But I sit down and I figure out what bills need to pay for that week, and that is a part of my personal planner routine. And then anything outside of that in terms of bills and stuff like that, my husband and I do that separately. All right, next part of this process is habits. I have grown to really love tracking habits. And so I'm gonna show you guys how I do that as well. These are new tracker inserts from the shop. These are gonna go in this weekly spread. And then I use my notepad habit tracker to track habits even further. So if you guys don't know, we have these habit trackers in the shop. And then we have stickers that go along with this habit tracker that allow you to be able to mark off when that habit is completed. So all of these little stickers here, squares, these fit perfectly in these little stickers right here to be able to mark off those habits. If that's what you choose to do, you could easily just check it off if you want, but sometimes you want some stuff to look colorful and fun and you just want to use stickers. So this is the perfect option for that. So these are available in the shop. These squares fit perfectly. The circles do as well, but the squares are specifically formatted for that. And so I keep these stored in this little pocket right here. So that way I can easily find them when I'm looking for them. And I can easily mark off that task that was completed if this is the way that I want to do it for that week. Sometimes, again, I'll just check it off. All right, so what I do is I take this, pull it out, and then this will get tucked in this pocket right here. And I need to move up this routine right here. I'm not sure why it's not sticking properly, but this routine is what I refer to as well. So sometimes when I'm planning for different things, I'll come here and I'll look here as well, but this is really just for reference. And so this is how I track my habits. And then also the insert that I just showed you, which is fairly new, I track them here as well. So let's do that really quickly. And so what I do is my habits don't really change from week to week. So within a previous month, I can easily just pull out a habit tracker, and that is what I'll use to make this habit tracker. All right, so this wasn't that good of a week, as you can see, in terms of tracking it, in terms of checking things off, but I'll just literally come and I'll rewrite the same exact thing for this week. So my habits are make bed, daily text, laundry, vitamins, journal, meditate, Bible read, workout, water, podcast, Audible, Kindle, social post, meeting prep, lunch, lay out clothes during school, chores, skincare, and 20 minutes of quiet time. So I'm literally just gonna write that all in here. All right, so that's how it would look. And I would go ahead and put that back in where it goes because I like to keep them with that particular week just so I can see what I was able to accomplish. And I normally just pin it to that week. This is kind of how it would look when I purge it and put it in my other planner that I store my yearly inserts in until the end of the year, and then I purge them out. And so I would literally take this and it would just sit right in here. And I would look at this every single day and cross off all of the habits that I'm completing. So all of this stuff will be incorporated throughout my day. And then this tracker is fairly new, but I thought this would be great because it gives you 31 days. So this gives you a little bit more if you want to take the habit tracker for the week and you want to take it and you want to check off those days here just so you can see at a monthly overview what you were able to accomplish. So I like them both for different reasons. So I thought I would try to see if this would work for this week. I know some specific things that I want to track and I want to see for 30 days are my vitamins. And then I also wanted to see the days that I was working out because I have started to walk every morning. And then I wanted to see the days there was something else that I wanted to track as well. And then I wanted to track my Bible reading. And I wanted to check my water. So this again is great because you could see 30 days of something. And so the backside is the same exact way. So I could use this for next week because I don't waste. So the beautiful thing about this layout is that since everything is all on one page, I know that anything on this side right here, all of this goes together. And then when I flip it, anything that's on this side would be like this. All of that goes together. So I think that's what's going to work out so well for me. That's why I really am enjoying this layout. So I'm going to pop this right on in. I know it seems like a lot going on in the week, but I'm going to talk you kind of through how that looks in motion, like when I get ready to actually do these things. Okay, so that's next up is my trackers. I love tracking things. I have to have them every single week. And so I just pop them right on in the week. That way I can track certain things and I can see what I'm able to accomplish. All right, so I've done pretty much everything, and the last thing that I do is pre-plan some things out for the next week. So if I know there's something going on, because these pages are right next to each other, it doesn't make me have to go all the way back to the beginning of the month or the at the glance pages. I can see it right here. So I know next week we have a trip to New Jersey coming up, a wedding there in New Jersey, and then y'all, I'm supposed to be on jury duty on call, and I think I went ahead and rescheduled it because I knew it was going to fall within that trip time period. So they said that I'm pretty sure I called and rescheduled. So I think I'm supposed to get some new information in the mail on my new dates. And so I like to just see that here. I don't write anything in on the pages, and then when I get ready to actually do the spread, I'm going to remove this so I don't keep this on here, and then I will write it in where it goes here. But I like to just see it really quickly as I'm already in the week, just to see kind of what I have going on and not have to flip back to the monthly. So I'll take out whatever sticky note goes well with that particular spread. And again, I have one already tucked in the pocket right there, and then I'll stick it on. I'll use my Sharpie pen that I showed you earlier, and I'll go ahead and write some things in that I just want to see right here. And so I've already done that for the next week. I created my spread, and then I added the sticky note, and that's what this is going to be for at the end of this week. So that is the last thing that I do in this whole planning routine. I pre-plan just a little bit for the next week of events. This is really in particular events. It's not recurring things or anything like that. It's just events, just because I want to see it real quick so that I know what's upcoming. So now I wanted to just talk with you guys on how this all works in terms of execution, right? And so this is how a week would look for me. I would have my planner pages planned out. I would have my recipes and what I'm eating for the week, including the grocery list, planned out. My spiritual schedule would be planned out. Then I'd have my trackers here. So I'd have my regular tracker of every single thing, and then I break them down here just so I can keep a log of that 30 days, and I can see what's, what I'm able to accomplish within a certain time period. And then also, I forgot one last tracker that I have implemented into this whole thing, and I am doing a no spend. So I would also be referencing this 30-day no spend. Now, I suppose I could write it here on the tracker just to make things easier, but I do have a whole thing here, and this is pretty much going to be for no spend, and it's only 30 days. And so these are fairly new to the shop as well. So I started on this date and I ended on this date. So that's what these don't have, or these do have over those two, is that you can kind of see when you started and ended. And so I think I'm just going to use this for no spends. So I started on the first, and I'm doing pretty good also, but this is another tracker that I have implemented and that I use during that part of the process as well. So all I do literally is just do that at the beginning of the month, and then I'll come and I'll check off those dates. This is the only thing that I do weekly. So it would have those trackers, but this is all that stays in the week, every week. And then I have my chores here at the bottom, my weekly chores. And then I have this routine that stays here as well. This is just for reference. And that is all that I have that I reference on a weekly basis. Again, once I get to this side of the spread, then we'll have all of those same things on this side. And the only other section that I go to in this planner on a weekly basis, I do go to these sections all the time, but it's my meal planner to sit down and plan, and then my home section, figure out what projects if I'm doing a declutter challenge, and then my faith section to see what my schedule is. I pretty much go to all these sections, you guys, not to just kind of single some of them out, but in terms of coming in here for reference or writing something in, those are pretty much the sections I do on a weekly basis when I'm sitting down to plan. Other sections I do go in on a daily basis, hourly, or whatever the case may be, just to reference certain things or write other things in. But this is how my spread would look during the week. All of these pages would be what would be in here for reference to make sure that I stay on track. And so in terms of execution, I just kind of tackle things one by one. When it comes to my cleaning schedule, I do try to have that done during a specific time of day, and how that all works together for the most part. Sometimes I don't always do this, is I actually have a block schedule. And so that is actually in my routine section. And I'll sometimes come here to to reference the block schedule that I have that really actually works very well. And I thought I had it in that section, in the routine section, but now I don't see it in there. Where is it? Okay, so my block schedule. So if you're wondering like how a day looks, that is completely different from a planner routine video. This is just sharing with you how I plan my week out. But in terms of execution, this is how it's executed. I love a good block schedule. And so for the most part, I try to do those things that I showed you on the schedule within that time period. I also do come here for reference as well to see what I can plan out on my weekly pages in addition to that checklist that I showed you. But those things are done during this period of time. So like make my bed, my teeth, and all of these things are pulled from different places. And so like, for instance, make bed, you know, that is on my tracker. And then vitamins, that's on my tracker. Some things are on my tracker, some things are on the schedule. I just come here to figure out in what window I'm gonna do those things. So this is actually great as well. If you just wanna do this, you could use that as well, do that as well. But I pretty much just come here just to get a general sense of when I wanna execute certain things during the day. So I love that. And so that is pretty much it for how I structure my day. I don't rewrite that block schedule, by the way. I just keep that there for reference and pull from that when needed to fill in my week. And then I'll come here. As you can see, I don't time block, but like my family worship, that is on a specific spot in the block schedule. You know, my workout, that's on a specific spot on the block schedule. So I use that just as a general idea of when I want to do all of this stuff here and all of this stuff everywhere, okay? But this is pretty much what I reference on a daily basis to figure out how I want my day to go and what I want to do during the day and during the week, and that helps me out so much. And so this is my planner routine. I know it seems like a lot, but trust me, this works for me every week. This helps me to get everything that you guys see that I get done is only because of this system right here. So if you want to get more done during the day, you don't have to do everything exactly the way others do it. Find out what works for you and just start slowly tweaking things as you see that you need to make improvements or you see things aren't working. Just start to just chip away at it. Don't think you have to go all of this all at one time. It's baby steps, okay? So start by planning out your week in a simple way. Then if you want to do meal planning, add that in. Then if you want to do more spiritually, add that in. If you want to start tracking things, add that in. This didn't all happen overnight. This just happened over the course of a few years, and this just works out for me. This is the best way for me to plan and get it all done, and I just love how that works out. I also didn't mention that I do have a Sunday routine, so I look at this as well to make sure that I'm getting those things done on a Sunday. And so I keep the routine for Sunday tucked here. All of this does not need to be written in on Sunday. I just know that on Sunday, I'm doing my Sunday routine. I don't fill this in within a specific time frame, like on the block schedule. The block schedule isn't always executed precisely, but I just try to get it all done during the day. It may not be in a specific window, but I'll just sit down on a Sunday and I'll do all of these things pretty much almost in one sitting, and that just works for me. So that just stays tucked there and it's only referenced on Sunday. And so I hope you got a sense of kind of how I plan things out and how my day is executed. Again, just to kind of walk you through a day in the planner, like for instance, Monday, I would say Addison's Bible study and my groceries are to be done on that day. I would also say, okay, do I need to do any meal prep things on Monday? Do I need to do any tasks on Monday? Are there any priorities I need to make sure that I'm checking off today? Is there anything I need to buy that I need to add to this list? If I've already purchased it during my grocery shopping, I'll check it off. I'll write in my dinner. And then after I've checked off everything I've done on whatever day I decide to do any of this stuff off, because this stuff isn't assigned to a specific day. This stuff is. So I'll make sure I execute it and check it off. And then I'll check off my tracker items. I'll check off my habits as they're executed. I'll check off my cleaning chores. I'll go into that other section for home. If I'm doing a challenge, I'll check off that task, but I pretty much come here and I check off what I do in terms of cleaning. Anything that I do spiritual, I check that off. So at this point, it's just a matter of checking things off as I'm executing them. So again, since everything's all right here, I can see it all right here. I can easily do these things based on hopefully the block schedule. If not, it'll just be whatever time it is during the day. Then I'll just check it off as I do it. So this is how a typical week would look for me. Again, please don't get overwhelmed and think that you have to do it this way. You don't. This is just what works for me. Implement whatever works for you. But as you can see, aesthetically, it looks great. I love neutral things with a pop of color. There's not too much action going on in terms of busyness, and I think that's what allows me to not feel as overwhelmed, because these pages are pretty much black and white. And so because of how it all looks, I don't really get overwhelmed by it, as some of you may get overwhelmed just looking at it. I'm like, this is so organized to me, and this allows me to get it all done and check it all off. So this is my planner routine. I love it. This is what works for me. Again, do what works for you. And so I hope you got a little bit of insight in terms of how I get things done, how I write it out, how I structure things. This is done on a weekly basis. Every Sunday, I sit down and do everything that I just mentioned to you. It doesn't take that long, maybe about an hour, but I do find it enjoyable. This is kind of like my me time. And so because of that, I don't really view it as a chore or anything daunting. I just really love it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. You got a little inspiration out of it, some insight that may help some of you, which means you'll give me a thumbs up on this video. You'll consider subscribing to my channel, and you guys will come back by and catch another video, in which case I'll see you guys then.